2020, apparently. And, are we out of the woods yet? So, how are you feeling about this incredibly futury sounding number you find yourself living in now? 2020. I mean, the future really should have emerged by now properly, shouldn't it? Are you exhausted? Are you geared up for something new? Of course you're geared up for something new. You've got your strategy all in alignment, haven't you? I really don't. My working life as a creative tends to involve a lot of scribbling on layout pads. There's bits of paper all over my studio. And my goodness, have I been scribbling this year. It's like fragments of strategy all around me in there. How to pull together my work as a musician, as a writer, as a future thinker. I felt like I'd stripped my engine to pieces after 3 years at college and left it all over the garage. Now I've got to piece it together. I felt like I was being reduced on the hob like a good marinara sauce. You know, the end result might be very rich and tasty, but it can half take a long time. And putting a webcam on it would really be uninteresting. But I had hoped to finish 2019 with all sorts of great strategies in place, content ready to launch at a moment's notice. Instead, I just had to admit defeat and invite the family round and take some days off with the engine still in pieces all over the floor of the Momo studio. How are we supposed to get it all together? We're facing unprecedented things all at once. Not just one crisis, but many. And honestly, at best, it can make you feel dizzy. Very quickly make you feel quite sick. Has the human planet ever looked less together? What is coming over the horizon in order to help you and me heal our polarisation? Doesn't seem to be much yet. And those who are trying to make sense of things and connect things and find grander truths above the left and the right, or the whichever way, forward or back, they do still seem quite lost in an academic, very intellectual exercise. And that leaves you and me somewhere in the middle. In my studio, I have had a box of pencils. I've had it for years. I think maybe since I was living at home as a young person. And I've never once sharpened one of those pencils. Here it is. Look at that. Venus Perfect Pencils. Somehow I've never felt the right moment to damage one and put it to use. But why were they made? Out of trees. They're not exactly mint in box. The box is slightly falling to bits, but it is, I don't know, a moment from another time that I've hung on to. I mean, it's a bit like the old idea of mint in box for toys. Toys are meant to be played with, aren't they, rather than made academic things of value. Their value is in using them and in unlocking worlds of imagination with them. What is a pencil for if not that? And I think in a way it may be as simple as that. My whole point starting 2020 may be that. If the world needs connectors and encouragers and sense makers to help draw bridges and visions across very polarised divides, it seems, to draw together all the different themes and crises into one coherent story so that ordinary schmoes like you and me can get it, then we've got to start sharpening our pencils, haven't we? If there is a thread that runs through Unsee the Future, it is the idea that ordinary nobodies like you and me can actually make sense of these impossible seeming existential crises of climate, of economic culture, of health and mental well-being, of fighting for resources, of an uncleanable planet. Things that seem like you and I could never make sense of it. The theme running through Unsee the Future, as I've discovered it, is that you can find yourself strangely empowered in the face of all that by putting it all together. It is all one story, everything. And if that sounds obvious to you, it doesn't mean that we as a culture across the human planet are used to living in the truth of that. We don't put it together. So I wonder whether it's time this year for you and I to simply break out the pencils. Sharpen a new one. Even if it seems like a cherished heirloom you're not supposed to touch. What's it for? If not to be handled, sharpened, worn down and used to make marks that didn't exist before. Find your pencil and sharpen it. Start making marks and see how the dots really connect. The thing is, once you do sharpen your pencil, you do realise, don't you, the implication. You're not meant to be emerging from the woods. You're meant to be plunging into them.